Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Allie with Nurse in a Skirt, and today I am going to be talking about my top resources that I use in nursing school. So I know a lot of my viewers are probably nursing school students, so I wanted to do a video tailored more to you guys. So let's get started. Again, if I look down or all that, it's because I have notes. So first off, I'm going to go over like social media stuff that was important to me, that more helped like with motivation, and then I'll go like a lot more into school stuff. So first, I'm going to go over Instagram accounts that were really helpful to me, very inspiring, really good information, and then also like mainly motivation and all of that. First, Nurse Nicole. Oh, and everything will be linked down below. So, Nurse Nicole is really funny. She is a nurse practitioner who lives in Florida. Really funny. Has a podcast too called The Working Nurse, I think. And she has a lot of really good resources too. She has a shop and a blog online linked in her bio. She has a lot of good study guides, study plans, brain sheets, so check her out. The next one would be Nurse Abnormalities. The owner of that account is Daniel Levesque, and I loved her account, still do, because she writes about nursing, and her words are just so inspiring, and they really capture the spirit of nursing. And she also just gives advice and clarity to some nursing, culture stuff, and I really like her writing. There were days where I just needed some motivation, and all I would have to do is just look at her account, find a blog post that she wrote, and read it and be like, all right, I feel a lot better. So those are the Instagram accounts that I would my top recommendations. YouTube, I've already gone over this on my page, but Sarah on RegisteredNurseRN, that's her YouTube account, RegisteredNurseRN, is amazing. She does lectures, she writes pictures on the board, she always does pathophys first, and then the second video will be about how you as a nurse will intervene and treatments and all of that. She explains everything so well. I can't say enough good things about her. My friends and I, we just really use her resources. She has a website with like practice questions for every single lecture. She has notes for every single lecture. She has so many resources, so really check her out. Would recommend 100%. Biggest resource in nursing school. Out of all of these, I would say her and obviously my textbooks, top two biggest resources. And then I really liked watching Crash Course. It's a YouTube account run by, I believe it's John Green, who is the author of The Fault in Our Stars. So I watched Crash Course for certain anatomy and physiology concepts that I had forgotten that we were touching on, like liver. Liver was a big thing. And then like the CNS, the brain. I would go onto their YouTube account to look over like the pathophysiology of that, of those body systems. So really good info on that. Sorry, I keep hitting my table and like wobbling my camera. See, I just did it again. Sorry, guys. So those were my top YouTube resources. Podcasts, there's just one podcast I'm going to recommend. It's NRSNG podcast. They have a pharmacology one. They have one that goes over mnemonics. So if you just want to like listen to that on your way to class or clinical, it's a really good time passer. The only thing I would say, like, I love NRSNG .com. I think they have amazing content, but the person they have reading the pharmacology one is so monotone and blah that they offer, needed information, but it's so monotone. So I don't know if you guys can change that. I love you guys, but please. It was good to listen to, but it almost was hard to listen to because it was just like so, not knocking on it, but kind of am, but yeah, still really good, really good. Books, all right. My personal experience is I had to use pretty much all of my textbooks because we had what was called KSAs, where we had to do pre-work before class, and there were objectives that we needed to answer, and pretty much all the objectives could be found in the book. And then we would have a PowerPoint in class that kind of went over the objectives, kind of depended on the teacher. And so how I utilize my textbooks to study smarter, not harder, is I would take the PowerPoint and I would correlate my reading with the PowerPoint. So if there was a section on the PowerPoint that wasn't, the section in the reading that wasn't on the PowerPoint, I wouldn't read it. And I made sure it didn't answer, went through that section, made sure, okay, does this answer an objective, which basically is what they want us to learn and know for the test. And if it didn't answer an objective and it didn't correlate with the PowerPoint, I didn't read it. And I never got tested on stuff that I, skipped in that way, which study smarter, not harder. Don't spend 3 hours reading if you don't have to. So utilize your textbook, but use it in a way where you're not over reading. Find a way to know what you need to know. I know that's hard to say, but most schools should give you like a PowerPoint or some kind of guide, objectives to let you know what you need to know for the tests and for clinical, because you do not need it to know everything in your textbook. You just utilize it as a very broad and knowledgeable study source, but utilize it the right way. I actually have a textbook here that I love to hate. It is my frenemy. I didn't use it until like my 4th semester of nursing school, and that's when my professors were like, you guys need to know your medications more. So they really started pushing medications, which is good. Like, you need to know your medications. And this textbook, if you get assigned to it, I know it's backwards, Pharmacology by Lilly. I love to hate it because hated it because it's pharmacology and it was very detailed. Loved it though because there was always a section at the very end of each chapter. So it'd be like, opioids or macrolides or, not macrolides. Let's know. Sorry guys, it's been a while. I haven't touched nursing info in a hot minute since I passed my NCLEX. Or let's just say like a certain type of antibiotic like cephalosporins. So it would go over those in a lot of detail. That's why I hated it, because it was so much detail. Some of it was redundant. But at the very end of each section for that medication, it would have like nursing interventions, nursing assessments, and teaching. And that's basically like what I needed to know. And it really helped get that information in my head. So if you have a pharmacology book, use it. That's what I found to help me with pharmacology in 4th semester. Wish I would have used it before that and not like written a million flashcards and but flashcards help too. I'll talk about that. Second to last book I'm going to talk about is this MedSurg Success book. It's really beat up. Someone gave it to me. An angel in my class gave it to me, and it has really good questions. It's by Davis. They have a bunch of different series. They have maternal ones for different subjects. I highly recommend it because you answer, practice questions are one of the best ways to study, because not only are you studying material, you're studying how to take that test and you're studying how to answer those questions, which is a big part of passing nursing school, is knowing how to take the questions. So highly recommend doing practice questions wherever you can find them. A MedSurg Success book like that. Whether you want to sign up for a UWorld subscription right now, which is something I wish I would have done, because it just has such good rationales and such good questions. And it's cheaper to just up your subscription. Totally up to you. It is an extra expense. And then Saunders. I also use Saunders too. I use the practice questions in Saunders. If I felt like I wasn't getting enough information in class on a certain subject, I would go to Saunders and read on that. And then do the practice questions. Any type of way you can get a hold of practice questions, you guys, it is going to help you so much in nursing school. Because like I said, you're not only studying the information, you're studying how to answer questions on that information. And then like the Davis book and Saunders gives really good rationales, and then test-taking techniques. Test-taking techniques. So highly recommend. And then I did do flashcards. I mainly use flashcards for medication, so I would put like the end of a medication, like how beta blockers, or I would put beta blockers, and then on the back I would put like common ending, like LOL, And then common side effects, why they're given, mechanism of action, and then like little nursing things to know, like beta blockers can mask the signs and symptoms of hypoglycemia, because normally you get like kind of tachycardic, sweaty, and beta blockers will not show that tachycardia. So use flashcards. I also use flashcards in the beginning of nursing school to help me learn all those conversions between like grams to milliliters, and then like teaspoons to tablespoons, or like a cup to teaspoons. I use flashcards for that too, because just the repetition of looking at it helped me. And certain conditions I would use flashcards for too. I put the condition on the front, and then on the back I would put signs and symptoms, and then common nursing interventions and assessments. So use flashcards, they help. I mean, if you're a flashcard kind of person. If you're a visual kind of person, do YouTube videos. If you're an auditory kind of person, use a podcast. Like, there's so many resources out there, you guys. Oh, I would also record lectures in class. Some teachers let you do this. It's, I would record lectures in class on my phone, and then either on the way home from class or on the way to class, because I had a pretty long commute whenever I went to lecture. It was about a 40-minute commute sometimes. So I would listen to a lecture before class. So use your time wisely. Apps on your phone. I use Chegg to make flashcards. They have a flashcard app, which is awesome. So I use that to make the conversion flashcards and to make medication flashcards. So I'd be like, I'd be at the doctor's office, and I would just go on my Chegg account, app, and just blow through some flashcards. I can't talk today. I'd be, waiting around somewhere for someone or something, and I would just go through those flashcards. Any little bit helps, you guys. On to the next app. NCLEX Mastery is a great app. They have NCLEX practice questions. They have a lot of free banks, but you can pay $30 a month, I think, and open up all the Q banks on there. Really good NCLEX practice questions. Again, if you work, I think this is really helpful for people who have kids, or they work, have a little downtime on work. Grab your phone out if you're allowed to. Go through those practice questions. If you have kids and you can't sit down with your book and your laptop, but you have time to go through your phone and do some practice questions, when you're waiting to pick them up from school or something, do that. So I think that's a really good app. Really good rationales on that app too. So find practice questions that have really good rationales. Kaplan, I signed up for a question a day through Kaplan. They would send it to my email. I'd do a question a day. That was fun. And yeah, I think just find whatever works best for you. Find whatever inspires you to learn. Nursing school, the content isn't so much difficult to understand. It's how much content you need to know. So finding a good way to study and good resources really makes the difference, you guys. Find any little way you can pull studying into your day and make the most of your education, because when you're in clinicals and you have a situation where you're like, I wish I would have studied more, you're going to be wishing that you use resources other than just your textbook and your PowerPoint and your notes, because sometimes you just, you're sitting in your car, you got 20 minutes. Oh, I'm going to watch a registered nurse RN video about hypertension, or about diabetic medications, or about COPD. It really, every little bit counts. So good luck to everyone on their nursing journey. Thank you for watching this. Subscribe to my channel, comment below, and I will link all those resources down in the comments. So have a good day, you guys. Happy nursing.